Ladies and gentlemen, people around the world, we have a very special guest today. Bring your attention to me now. Look at me. I'm important. Tell me I'm special.
Pick me, choose me, love
My
me.
intros for these suck so bad. But anyways, this is Raleigh's Roast, and I'm excited to talk to Hayley Payne today. And Nick's going to do an intro now. Okay, everybody, we're here with Hayley Payne. Hey, Hayley, how are you?
I'm good, Raleigh. How are you?
I'm pretty solid. So I'm excited to talk to you because Nick loves you and I like Nick. Sort of. Sometimes
A little
I like
bit.
Nick. Depends on how I feel that day. But I'm excited to get to know you. Where are you from?
So I'm from Kentucky. It's called
You
Owensboro.
I know exactly where Owensboro is.
Do you really?
I mean, I lived in Lexington I know Kentucky very well. Those are my peeps.
Oh yeah, I love the KY.
I grew up in Ohio. Yeah, I grew up in Ohio, but I moved to Kentucky for college and really found my peeps down there.
Wait, so did you go to UK?
No, I played football at Georgetown. You know Georgetown by UK. Really, it's like 20 minutes from UK.
Yeah.
And so you grew up in Owensboro?
Yeah, I've lived here my whole life until I went off to college, and I go to school at MTSU at Middle Tennessee State. So I'm in Murfreesboro, Nashville area, but I'm at home now because of Corona time. So
yes.
So I came back here for the summer.
Is there a worldwide pandemic going on right now?
Oh my gosh, totally forgot.
No, it's crazy. Well, cool. So how do you grew up? Didn't you grow up playing? I think what Nick told me of you is you've done a billion gigs for 10 years. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, not a billion, but
1 billion. You've done 1 billion.
Exactly. The exact a billion. So I'm 20 and I started performing out in public when I was 10.
Yeah.
And I just started doing talent shows and stuff like that. And to help me get used to being in front of people, even though I low-key have always loved being the center of attention. So it really wasn't that hard for me to get up in front of people. But yeah, so it's been about 10 years of performing. That's
wild. So you moved to Nashville for college, right?
Yes, but I'm going to live there after I'm done with school too. But honestly, I didn't want to go to college. But my mom is a high school teacher. She just retired actually, but she was like, sis, you are not going to go to college. So, but I just didn't want to go because I didn't think there's anywhere that I could go to do what I actually wanted to do. Until I looked out of state and then heard about MTSU, and I really love it. And my major is songwriting, so I get to do, what I actually want to do.
You didn't want to go to, that's crazy. Okay. So as a guy, it might be because our brains develop slower, but
the truth.
But I can't imagine knowing exactly what I wanted to do when I was 18. I'm putting myself, or not, whatever you were, how old were you when you first knew, this is exactly what I want to do, so much so that I don't even want to go to college.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't even think there was ever a moment where I was like, this is what I want to do. I think I just always knew that. And then I guess it became...
I know, that's what I mean. That's
I really don't think there was ever a time where I sat down and was like, I'm going to do this, or just that's what I'm going to do. Maybe when I realized it was actually feasible, when I was more in high school and realized that it was something that I could actually do. But I've never had any, if you would ask me when I was little, it was always I want to be a singer. I was never I want to do this or this or this. It was just always been this one thing.
Wow. See, if you would have asked me early or young Raleigh in 5th grade, I would have said, I want to be a marine biologist.
Oh yeah.
Everybody was saying that. Remember how everybody used to say that?
But it was nobody actually knows what it is.
And nobody really wants to do it either. I feel that job is really hard, animal, you're picking up their crap. Anyways, so good thing Raleigh Keegan did not end up as a marine biologist, because the world would be worse.
2020 would be even worse.
2020, listen, it would be worse than a pandemic. It would be a Raleigh depilemic. Raleigh depilemic. What did I just say? Yes.
Yes.
But okay, here's the question. What you always knew, but did you always think it would be country? Like, did you grow up on country music?
Yes. I actually grew up listening to a lot of different things, but that was always the thing that I loved the most. I also listened to a lot, good Lord, can I speak? A lot of like 80s rock because that's what my dad really loved. And he was actually in an 80s cover band for a while playing drums. And so I like used to love that kind of stuff. And like we listened to a lot of like ABBA, Fleetwood Mac. It's more like 70s, but and like I remember listening to Journey and like Blondie every time we got in the car. But I also like we listened to Martina McBride all the time and Trisha Yearwood. And I loved Taylor Swift. I was that girl when I was like 6 years old. Like I loved, like I wanted to be her. But I grew up on country, so I love the storytelling of it, and that's what I've always loved, even when I was little. And so I just knew that's what I would want to do.
Right. When did you write your first song? How old were you?
I was 8.
You were 8?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
I remember, it was called That Star in the Sky.
That's wild.
Very original.
That Star in the Sky.
Yes. And
wow, can I cut that?
Oh yes, you can have it without even hearing it. Just the title is so riveting that you just need to have it.
I want to make that a hit.
Oh yeah. You can have it.
What were you saying about it?
I remember so it was my family like moved a lot. Like we actually moved in like only like a 30-mile radius, but I've lived in like 7 different houses. But the second house we lived in, I vividly remember going to the basement to write it. And I think we were all down there because it was either the ice storm or like there was flooding or something. But I remember I was in the basement, like this tiny little basement, and like in the dark. And I was like, I'm just going to write a song. And that was what it was.
Wow. When I was 8, I was playing piano at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to bug my parents to death because I would play Heart and Soul on the piano. Bum, 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 and I would play that for like hours, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had to have annoyed my parents so hard, but that's so cool. Okay. So, and you play guitar, right? Do you play anything else?
Guitar's my main instrument, but I play piano. I started when I was like 6 probably. But once I got a little bit older, I was probably 11 or 12, my dad was like, Hayley, if you want to be a country music singer, like you got to know how to play guitar. And so then I started guitar, and then I kind of like didn't practice piano as much. So I would say that I can play a few songs, and if I sit down and like learn a song, I can play it. But if you put like sheet music in front of me, I wouldn't be able to do that anymore.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Why? So how is it? This is I would love to know the answer to this. How has been your experience? Don't give me the right. How is the experience at a music college? Like has it? I get mixed things on this, so I'd love to know your opinion. Like some people hate it. Some people really like it. Like has it? Do you feel like it's been helpful to you and everything? What's your take? I
would definitely say it's been helpful to me, and I absolutely love it. And I think that's part of why I like M2C so much is because it obviously has a great like recording industry program, but there's so many more, like so many other things. So it's not like just like a music school or whatever. Like I have friends who are like aerospace majors, and they're like, let's fly this weekend. Like they just fly planes like casually. And like it's also there's like a concrete management major there, and that's like a big thing that like a lot of people come from like all over the country for. Oh, wow. Just like, people like me would go for, the music stuff, but those people come for like all that kind of stuff. But it's definitely been helpful to me because I've gotten to take classes where like I actually like all we do is write songs, and then we like co-write with other people, and the collaboration is super helpful. But I've also gotten to take some like audio production kind of classes, which is something I never would have like really dabbled in before because I would just have had no idea like where to start. Right. But last semester I took like an intro to MIDI and sound synthesis class. And so I learned how to do that kind of stuff. And I like literally would have never known how to do that if it wasn't for MTSU.
I would kill to know how to do that stuff.
It was really cool.
I would bet. Like I'm a Googler. Like I'm like Google my way to know any information ever. I do that. So, but like to me, like the idea of trying to start like learning audio stuff feels like if I was like to be like, I'm going to learn how to play the violin. Like there's so much to it that like it's almost better for me, for my time, and to like hire a professional. But I would kill if I knew how to do all that stuff myself. Like so much would get done so quick. You know what I'm saying?
And like, I get that too, because it really is, it's a whole other profession. It's a whole other thing. So like I wouldn't say that I'm like, oh my gosh, I like want to be a producer, or what I would even know where to start with that. But I enjoyed those classes because when I do like hire someone else to do it, I know what they're talking about. You
could also do demos too, right? Yeah. Like you can get good demos of your songs that you like, just to see, like if you could do that yourself, that would, number one, save you money. Like that's why, like for people out there that don't know this, in Nashville, there's a new thing. It's not that new, but like it's a thing now to be called like a track guy or track girl, right? Like, so there's, for people that don't know, there's, like, let's say there's me and you are writing there. We might have a track guy or track girl in the room with us that is building a track to the song, and they'll get a third of the song, like the writing credits, and they might, cause it saves you a lot of money on demo budgets and stuff like that. So maybe you could do that. Maybe you could be maybe you could be a track girl.
Oh gosh.
I write with this track girl named Danielle, and she writes for, she's from Australia, and she writes for Sony ATV, and she's awesome. She goes in there, like, it's so cool because like she'll take our ideas and our lyrical stuff, and like she'll immediately transfer it to like whatever kind of computer wizardry she's doing. Yeah. You know? It's kind of cool. It's
crazy. But yeah, so I mean, that was definitely cool to be able to do that kind of stuff and just at least know how it works. And also just the collaborations of being there, like I've written with people from my class, and for like a class project, or then I'll find a new co-writer that we write like on our own. Right. And there's been some audio students that I've gotten together with, and they like for their projects will record some of my songs, but then like I get a song out of it, but it's like for them to practice like their skills and stuff. And so that's been something really cool. And a song, I'm going to come out with a song next month. And it's literally from a guy that is a master's student in the audio program. And like he did it all. It's like in the on-campus studios and everything.
Is it called When the Stars Fall Down? Or what was that song called?
It was That Star in the Sky.
Is it called That Star in the Sky? Because I'm really looking forward to it.
No. Honestly, you literally have no idea how that song goes.
That's going to get playlisted, girl.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that you have been playing shows for like 10 years, right? And you're 20?
20.
How old are you? You're 20. You started playing when you were 10. Okay, so that's wild. I want to know the worst thing that's ever happened to you at a show.
Oh.
Or the funniest.
I have a story for you, okay? I'm not going to name names, okay? Because
tell me. I'm kidding. Tell me off the thing. Tell me off
okay. But so I have definitely had some just straight up weird things happen to me. And part of it is like, I mean, some people like think I'm older than I actually am. I don't think they did think that when I was like 10, because you could obviously tell I was really little. But this was 4 years ago. I was 16. And I was singing at this local restaurant that has like this really nice like outside kind of venue looking thing. And they were having a pretty like famous comedian there. Wow. And I didn't know who he was, but like apparently a lot of people do. And so I was supposed to like have a set before him, and then he was going to do his thing, and then I was going to come on after him. But I was like 16, my parents were there. So like, he's like super raunchy. So when we were done with the first set, like we went inside to eat while like he did his thing. And then I like came back on to do my second set after he was done, and he was like meeting people like over to the side. And I saw like the line kind of dwindling down like out of the corner of my eye, and I see him like coming up behind me like, on the stage, and I'm like, but I'm like still singing. So like, okay, but like I swear, I'm like, I think he's like coming over here. So then he like takes the mic and starts singing, but he changes the words to the song to stuff that like I cannot say, but it was like about me. And I'm 16 years old, and I'm literally like, and I'm just sitting there, and the guitar players like keep playing it, and I'm like, oh my Lord, like this is how I die. And so he was like, you sing, and I said, you can have it. And I literally left because like I walked off because I was like, I'm so scared right now. And so then I went and like just sat back in the audience with my parents, and I was like, my dad's like, I'm gonna fight him. And I was like, I'm so scared. And then everyone's like, get back up there, like chanting, like, get back up there. And I'm like, and I was so scared. And eventually like he just left. And then I like sang like another 2 songs and was like, this is fine. And but then like the manager came later and was like, we told him how old you are and he is so sorry. And like all this stuff. And I was like, and I was like, I just want to go home now, because it was just so uncomfortable. Like I've never been that uncomfortable in my life.
That's lovely. I love that. No, I don't love it. I love that story. I love that story.
It was a time.
That reminds me of something that happened to me, and I've never talked about this on the podcast, but I was playing a show in Florida, in Key West, and we were playing Mary Jane's Last Dance, the Tom Petty song.
Yeah.
And this guy from the audience gets up on the stage, gets up on the stage, grabs my guitar player's other free electric guitar, and starts soloing during the song, and it was awful. But he grabbed his guitar, plugged it in, and started shredding over this song, like during the parts where like I was singing, and like where you would sing words, right? And it happened for like 15 seconds, and the bouncer tackled him.
Well, why do you do that?
How dope is that?
And it's weird. It's like he knew. He's like, this is my equipment. I'm just gonna plug it in and like.
Well, what's really odd is we knew him. We didn't know him, but he was in the opening band.
Oh.
Okay. And he talked to us, and he was a super nice guy. And I think he thought like this is gonna be cool. Like this will be great. Like, they'll love this. And
he was
we did
wrong.
not. And my friend, was wrong. Oh man,
that is insane.
I know, it's wild. Well, that's cool. So so your plan is to, when you're done, to do this for a living, like as a writer and an artist. Mm-hmm. That me and you are the same. Mm-hmm. What would you say, like, so far has been the hardest part about, like, I feel like it's really hard for it is statistically, I looked this up recently. It's very hard for creative people to like make money from their creativity. Mm-hmm. What do you feel like the hardest part of like pursuing this has been for you so far?
Well, I definitely agree with that. It's hard to like have to do the creative thing and then do the business thing too, because I'm definitely more creative minded. But like, especially right now, like doing it, on my own, it's like you have to do all of it. And that's just a lot, but it's just how, it has to be. But I would also say that being a female in country music right now is difficult. And so it's hard because, I'm actually writing my honors thesis about this for school.
Yeah, seriously, I would love to talk about this.
Let's do it. So it's just honestly this whole big circle of like, radio thinks no one wants to hear females. So then the label's like, well, we're not going to sign females because nobody wants to hear them on the radio. It's not going to play them on the radio. It's like, well, no labels are sending us new females. But it's like, it's just big circle. Ooh. But no one, so then it's like, we're not doing this because they're not doing it. But they're like, we thought that you guys said this. And so it's just like this whole big thing. Because if you actually ask the public, people are like, we want to hear females. And I mean, maybe not everybody does, but I mean, most people really do, especially girls. And
as far as country music goes, I listen to I think here's my thing, because there are less females. Mm-hmm. The ones that are there are really good. Yeah. Like, I feel like there's more, the girls that I listen to more females, because I think overall in country music, like they have better songs. Yeah. Like, and I've thought that for years. Like, I think it's a lot for whatever reason, you can have like I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but like you can have mediocre music as a guy and still do well. But like as a girl, like you gotta bring it, because you're right. Like there's not as many spots for all the reasons that you named, right? Like it does seem like a vicious cycle. Like, and I would totally affirm that. It's odd because like if you look at what I listen to, it's mostly I feel like a lot of I like smart hooks. I like really
Me too.
clever,
Like I love clever
catchy
things.
smart hooks.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the girls do that. Like Mariana Lambert does that really well. You know. So, anyways, I would love to hear more. Like, what else do you feel like? Why is it hard? Or just talk more about that for being a female in country.
Well, I also feel like there is this other pressure that guys, I think, definitely do get some of it, but not like as much, even just in terms of like looks and even like your name. Like all the girls have different names, but there's like 3 Lukes. You know what I mean? But there really there could never be another Carrie. Your name could not be Carrie and like try to be a country music artist.
Reba.
And yeah, like you can't come in and, you know, and, I mean, I don't think anyone would even dare like take the name Reba, but you know what I mean? Like it's just your name, but you could not come in and like try to, you don't see that, you know? Yeah, I think that, like you said, even though like there's a lot of male country artists that I love too, but I think that it's easier sometimes to have just like, oh, that's okay song, you know? But then with females, like when I heard More Hearts Than Mine by Ingrid Andress for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, but that's like a standout song. And so that like, it can sometimes just take that one song. And I love all of her other music too, and like her new album and everything, but I'm interested to see if she can keep that momentum, like just from that song. Cause I think
that's what I mean. That's one of those smart hooks, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh. When I heard that, I was like, you're joking. I was like,
so
you're
mad
joking.
I didn't write this.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was literally like, this is a joke. Like that is so good. And I'm definitely totally not like knocking male country artists because there's so many of my favorites that are men too. But
yeah, me too.
And, but I just think there's definitely I
hate all men. I hate all men.
Yes, all are trash.
Actually, let me correct the record on that. I hate all men, and I hate myself too. So, anyways, what were you gonna say?
Honestly, I don't remember. Just, I think that that's just a system problem, is that it's like everyone's saying, oh, no one wants to hear him. But it's like, who are you talking to? Because then it's that whole circle. They're just like, no one wants to hear him. No one wants to hear him. And then they don't even get a chance to be signed to get on the radio. And then the ones that do get pushed to radio don't get played. And I remember I heard More Hearts Than Mine last year in the summer, and it just went #1 like a month ago. And it took that whole year to climb. And a lot for females, and like The Bones by Maren Morris, that has been out for over a year. And like it's been #1 on like Billboard for a few weeks now, but like it takes so much longer for a woman's song to climb up to the top. And
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I think at first maybe radio stations are scared to play it, and then they hear that people really like it, so then they do. But it takes, I mean, almost all of them have just taken like a year. Unless you're Carrie, but even then it sometimes takes longer.
Have you heard the argument that like the demographic for who listens to radio, like is like, I'm pretty sure it's like mostly 30 to 60-year-old women, I believe, is their biggest demographic.
Yeah.
And potentially I've just heard that like that audience tends to go towards the male thing because they're females, right?
Yeah.
I guess that would make sense. But I think I think you're right. Like when you have that, I don't know. Yeah. I think you've hit it on the money. I would love to read your paper.
Oh, it's going to be like 40 pages. It's going to be very long and it's very stressful, but yeah, I will definitely send it to you. And it's going to be published in like their little thesis, like room thing. I mean, it's going to be like for real, it's going to be like binded and all this stuff, but, or bound. I don't know what the word is for that, but,
are you going to do it on like one of those scribe things?
Oh gosh, no. It would literally be so long, but yeah, I'll definitely let you know. It's been cool, to work on that summit. I honestly just did the proposal part last semester. So this semester I like actually get to do it.
Yeah.
But it's already been challenging, but it's been really cool because it's something I'm obviously passionate about. So even though it's a lot of work, I like enjoy doing it, and it's something that I like want to put out there, because I think everyone, like when I talk to people who aren't in the industry, they're like, oh, there's just not as many female artists. Like they just think that not as many. I'm like, honestly, there's so many people, trying to make it or whatever, but it's like, I would think there might be more girls trying, and people are like, there's just less of them, because they don't hear them and they just don't know. But there's so many that are amazing that no, they just don't. They're like, oh, there's just fewer of them, but it's because they hear fewer of them.
That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, there's certainly there's certainly no shortage of either male. To me, it feels like there's like, people don't realize this, but I'm pretty sure like 8,000 people move a year to Nashville to try and make it.
There's something a day. There's literally like, the number's huge. I don't want to say it because I have no idea what it actually is, but there's something in the number so huge of like, this many people move to Nashville every single day. And I'm like, that is crazy to me.
And the thing is, what I've been told is that if the only thing you don't do is don't quit, if that's the only thing, if you just keep doing it, like you can find a way, like some form of way to make if obviously if you have the talent, like you can't suck. Okay.
Yeah. That's the other thing.
But the other thing is you can't suck.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing too. People don't realize this, but when people come to Nashville and they go to Broadway or whatever, they just think everyone's good, right? Like when you're from out of town, you go to writers' nights or whatever, you think, man, everybody's here is good. Here's the truth, folks. Most people are not good. Like, let's make that clear. Most people, there are way more untalented people than talented. And I don't mean that as like, oh, me being mean or anything. It's just like a fact. If you think about it, like, it's to stand out when 8,000 people or whatever move a month or it's crazy. I mean, to pursue this, you got to have a little bit of a crazy bone in you, right? Because like at the end of this, like you and I can pursue this for 15 years and something might not happen, and like there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like but for me, it's like, what else? Where else am I going to go?
Same,
like,
I don't know what else I'm going to
do. There's nothing else I want to do. Like, I want to make it work.
Yeah.
Like, so that, and I don't know why I was telling you that, but we were talking about why it's hard, how it's hard to make it or to try and make it or whatever. So you've released music already, right?
Yes. So I actually had an EP come out 3 years ago, and Nick's dad actually produced it.
Shut the front door.
And I've known Nick, I mean, I don't know. I was probably like 12. Yeah, it's on Spotify and Apple Music, but I'm having a new song come out in hopefully the end of July. It's called History. So be on the lookout for that. But I'm really excited about that.
Can I guess the hook?
Sure.
No, I don't want to.
Well, you don't want to. I don't think that you'll guess it. Just guess it.
Is it something along the lines of "We Got History"?
No.
Okay, that would be way too obvious, wouldn't it?
It's. Let's see if I can give a little. Okay.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it if you. It's okay if you don't want to.
Okay, maybe I don't want to ruin it. We'll see.
You don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. But I'm excited. It'll be out in a month.
Yeah. I'm just waiting to get the artwork back for the little single art thing.
Don't you love that?
Yeah. And so then once I have that, then I'm going to put it or, set it on the track to be put out.
Right. Okay. Last question. Nick told me that every single year you win a CMA, and I just wanted to know, how does it feel to be so famous?
Well, okay, I don't win a CMA award, but at CMA Fest.
Every year you win, right?
At CMA Fest for the past, which it's been ruined this year because, 2020, but for the past 6 years, So we've gone ever since I was probably like 10 or 11. And me and my family, and then me and my friends like started going the past few years. And for the past 6 years, every year somehow I'll win floor seats to like the stadium show. The first year we were up in the nosebleeds, like section 300 or whatever. And they always do this thing where it's like Chevrolet, best seat in the house. And if you tweet a picture of where you're at, they'll like give you new seats. And I tweeted it, and then I got the notification, and it was like, Chevrolet followed you. And then they DM me and they're like, you've won. And I was like, stop. What? And so me and my dad got to go in the front row, and my siblings were so mad, and my mom, because they were just still sitting up there in section 300 or whatever. And me and my dad got to go down there. But then they were all mad about it. And then like 2 days later, it was like that Saturday night. And we always just talk to people. Like, I love making friends at concerts and stuff like that. And there was this like really sweet old couple, and they were like, we have to go home before Sunday night show. Do you guys want our tickets? And it was like Gold Circle. So then I let my brother and sister take those. And oh my gosh. Then the next year we met at like another, like it was either two friends or like it was another couple, and they gave us their seats for the last night because they had to go home. Then for the past, I guess it's been 4 years, they do this like giveaway thing where they're like, it's like a scavenger hunt, and they post on their story, and they're like, where we at? Come find us. And so like I know, broad like downtown Nashville pretty well, so I just like run and then find them. And then last year, me and my friends.
Wait, no, Nick just corrected me and said it was Grammy. You win Grammys every year.
Oh my God, I just almost died.
Nick is a loser.
Nick, okay,
he told me the wrong information.
That's a totally different thing.
But this story's great. I mean, you win tickets to the CMA Fest every year.
Literally
somehow?
Every single year. But the Grammy thing. Also, if you guys look back at that footage, I'm sitting on this bench, and I just like almost died. So you can go back at that, look back at that, and have a laugh. Anyway, so the Grammy thing, it's probably been 5 years, maybe. I was like, as a joke, just edited this picture of me wearing like my sister's prom dress, and I like photoshopped, or it wasn't even photoshopped because I don't even have that. I like literally, it's so horribly edited, and I'm just like, hold it. And so then people like thought it was so funny. And so then every single year I just do it. And they've honestly gotten really convincing. Like the last 2 years, I feel like they look pretty good. Or the last 3 years are my favorite, I think. But this year I actually did 2. So I won 2 this year.
Wow. Honestly, like I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. No one knows who I am, but I've won Grammys every single year.
So many Grammys. You should for real frame those pictures and put them on your wall.
Yes. The ones that look good are honestly like pretty the ones from like 5 years ago, it's so obvious. But honestly, like some people have commented, my friends and stuff always comment and be like, oh my gosh, like, wow, I'm so proud of you, blah, 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 because they know that I edited them. But honestly, some of like my new followers will be like, oh my gosh, like, congratulations.
Yes. That's what I was going to think.
And I'm like, they literally think that it's like real.
That's so funny. That's so great. They don't know.
And I'm like, thank you so much.
That's the thing too. People will DM me and be like, I heard your song on the radio, and I'm like, no, you didn't, because I'm not currently paying for radio promotion, and I always just say, awesome, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's it's so like, great.
There's no point of even trying to correct it. I wonder how they think that they heard it on the radio, though. I don't know.
Well, maybe they could have, but it would have had to have been from. I did radio promotion like last year for a little bit. And it would be odd if they randomly, you know what I mean? They only have
just put it on there now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know the whole thing. I think they just think all males sound the same. So, you know,
they're like, oh my gosh, I heard your song.
I heard your song. I'm like, thank you so much.
Thank you for the support.
Like, what's it called? More Hearts Than Mine? Yep, that's mine.
Like, your voice sounds really different here.
Well, anyways, hey, thanks so much for coming on. It was good to talk to you. And
thank you for having me on.
Hear a little bit of your story, and I'm excited. Everybody go follow Hayley Payne. Is it Hayley Payne Music?
Yes, and it's Hayley. There's so many different ways to spell Hayley.
I was going to ask you why on earth you don't spell it like I spell Raleigh, and I'm mad about it. Why is it not Hayleigh? Why? I mean, we could have been blood brothers or sisters, whatever you want to be.
Siblings, blood siblings.
Blood siblings. Anyways, thanks for everybody. Go follow you at Hayley Payne Music. And you're on Spotify and everything.
Yes, and my new song will come out next month. Don't know the exact date yet, but at some point. So follow me on there.
In July. Yeah, follow her on Spotify or wherever. All right, y'all. It's been real. We'll talk next time. Boom.